Tallahassee, Florida, usually considered football country, but Seminole fans are excited about their young basketball team. There's Corey Lewis, Avery Curry, and leading scorer James Collins. But tonight, UConn's in town with All-American Ray Allen and the 8th-ranked Huskies. This week, it's exam week, and the Huskies are in town. It's the Big East in the ACC, UConn and Florida State. Bob Carpenter and Dick Vitale, welcome to Tallahassee. And of course, UConn's the team of the 90s in the Big East. 2 straight conference titles. It all revolves around Ray Allen, the All-American.
Well, they were 32-4 when you talk about those 2 titles. And you talk about Ray Allen, one of the 4 best players in America. Duncan, Camby, Kittles, and Allen. He's so explosive. He's a dynamic player in transition. And he can stroke the jump shot, baby. In other words, he can do it all.
And a very talented veteran cast around him. Now, Florida State's a little bit younger. And there's a lot of controversy about James Collins with that reported stalking incident arrested for yesterday. But tonight he plays. What do we look for from him?
Well, when you talk about his basketball skills, we're talking about a guy that's really underrated. If you ask most people in America, they don't know the name James Collins. But you ready for this? The leading returning scorer from the ACC. Very similar in style to Mr. Allen. I asked Ray Allen, I said, who does he remind you of? He said, Kerry Kittles. Hey, that's enough for me, baby. If he reminds me of Kittles, he can flat out play.
That's good enough for any basketball observer in America. Gary Miller, we're getting set for a good one tonight. The Big East and the ACC.
Okay, thanks a lot, Bob and Dick. We'll be getting right back out to you as the Huskies try to win their 6th straight game. Just 3 top 25 games across the country right after this.
ESPN's presentation of NCAA basketball is brought to you by Buick and your local Buick dealers. Remember Buick, the new symbol for quality in America. By Bud Light, if you want great taste that won't fill you up and never let you down, make it a Bud Light. And by Video Guide, the on-TV program guide with news, weather, and sports. It's about time.
Florida State has its hands full here at home tonight. The Seminoles are 4-1, and the Huskies come to town with a record of 6-1, 2-0 in the Big East, and in this week's AP poll, they're up to the number 8 spot. Daron Sheffer, what a great backcourt compliment he is, Dick, to Ray Allen.
Well, Sheffer's a guy that can shoot the 3 as well as handle the ball, and very experienced. And remember, he's going to be 24 years of age.
The rest of the UConn lineup, they are veterans. You see, they're all seniors and juniors. It's not that way for Florida State. Pat Kennedy has a much younger team, and the junior Kirk Luckman is being called now by Kennedy and his staff the most improved player they've seen in 10 years in Tallahassee.
Well, physically he's come back really strong, and he's been a real solid player on the inside. The key for them, though, will be whether or not they can handle the pressure of Connecticut. That means Curry and Greer will really be tested.
There's Luckman, who went to Mark Ivaroni's big man camp this summer. He got the tap from Corey Lewis, and don't forget about that other Florida State big man. The Seminoles like to get up and down the court. Their strength is their inside game, and it's a multi-defensive team that Connecticut features. They will change defenses all night long. That's Greer, strong on the dribble, weak on the shot. And the outlet from Travis Knight. This is Allen wheeling. Oh, rejected in the first minute. Corey Lewis is going to try to set a tone early for the Seminoles.
Well, Lewis did a great job defensively getting back in transition. We take a look at Allen. There he is spinning in the lane. He doesn't anticipate Lewis.
Wow.
But that's not a shock to me. Lewis blocked 9 shots last year against Maryland.
Alley-oop on the inbounds and the reverse jam by Travis Knight.
You want to talk about an improved player. You take a look at where he has come with his game. Last year he really developed. Now there's that trap we're going to talk about. 1-2-1-1.
At midcourt, Seminoles get their way through it with the diagonal pass, and it's Curry on the wing. A little bit long with the 3. And here comes Daron Sheffer.
Curry has really struggled shooting the basketball, shooting less than 25%.
That's Johnson from King. And the rebound, James Collins, who's a very good rebounding guard at 6'4". He's averaging 6 a game. Seminoles can't find the basket yet, and Kurt King The junior out of Baton Rouge pulls down another.
King's got great legs. He's got tremendous bounce.
Sheffer well off to the right. Sheffer is a real key to this offense. When he shoots poorly, UConn struggles, like when they lost to Iowa in the Great Alaska Shootout, and then when they barely beat Boston College at home the other day.
Last year, he went through a midseason slump. Oh, what a great look right there.
Look at this pace. That was Rudy Johnson from Ray Allen.
Ray Allen with the great look. Connecticut for years under Jim Calhoun. They've been an outstanding transition basketball team. They really bring the ball up the sideline break. There's Allen. He knows exactly where Johnson's going to be. You know, Johnson's from out of here in Jacksonville, Florida.
Yeah. Ribald High School. Not a spectacular scorer. That's Luckman who the foul was on. And here's Rudy, who's called the senior stability guy on this team.
He's had so many injuries in his career. You name it, knee, shoulder, ankle.
But he's a very good role player. In fact, he's nursing a sore ankle, hurt in the Alaska Shootout against Indiana.
Here's the third different defense. We saw a man-to-man. We saw the 1-2-1-1. Now we're looking at a 2-2-1. Pat Kennedy told me we're going to go through it and try to score against it.
I think they're going to wear out your telestrator tonight.
Wow, I tell you, you talk about multiple defenses. Now they're going to a zone. So this is their fourth defense.
That's Lewis way up high.
A lot of teams are zoning. Jim Calhoun told me earlier tonight, because of the poor job shooting the basketball by so many clubs, you're seeing a lot of zones.
Shot clock inside 10. The kick on the wing. That's Lamar Greer. Nothing there. Then he has to shoot from way out and throws up a bad-looking air ball.
That's really bad shot selection right there.
Allen on transition, and Lamar Greer broke it up.
You got to make great decisions against Connecticut. If you take bad shots, they're going to rotate out. Hey, maybe Coach Bobby B might be here. Might like this guy for football, the way he hustled and scrapped. Hey, that's Mr. Perkins, the athletic director of Connecticut.
Yeah, and Tim Toligan, the SID, he went over to join the staff there for a little bit.
I think Tim wanted some AT, baby. He wanted some AT. Tim Toligan does a great job.
And a good job of getting back by Greer to prevent another easy UConn basket. That's Sheffer on top for Johnson. Rudy on the wing for Allen. And we've got to push away from the ball on Corey Lewis. So each Florida State big man has an early foul.
You know, Corey Lewis was not in the starting lineup for the first 2 games of the season, basically. He was suspended. He got his first start against DePaul, and he went for a double-double, 22 points and 10 rebounds.
Allen dribbles the ball off his leg. UConn's the team that's been forcing the turnovers to the tune of 21 per game in their first 7 outings.
There's that look at a 2-man front in that zone. What they try to do is get you out of any rhythm offensively.
Luckman on the wing for Curry to break the pressure.
No one played that 2-2-1 better than the UCLA Bruins in their run under the great John Wooden. Now they're in a 2-3 zone.
One way to get him out of that is to shoot him out of it, but James Collins cannot hit, and Florida State is not shooting well.
That's really the wrap on Florida State right now on a perimeter. You know, other than Collins stroking the ball, you look at Greer and Curry, and really not great shooters. You look at a 5-zip lead. Purdue had problems shooting the basketball against Villanova.
First 3 minutes of the game, and Florida State is 0 for 6 on its home court. There's Allen. Collins, the tough assignment to stay with him. He just lost him with the dribble. That's a 3.
I tell you talk about great versatility. He can score going to the basket. He can score shooting the 3.
Pat Kennedy wants a 20-second timeout.
Ray Allen scored more than 100 points in the U.S. Olympic Festival, which is a record. As you look at Mr. Kennedy right now, worked under Jimmy Valvano at Iona.
He's in his 10th year, Dick. Can you believe it? And there's Jim Calhoun, also his 10th year at UConn. And what a team of the 90s they have turned into. Back-to-back 16-2 conference records.
That really is very impressive. You know, I was talking to Jim. I said, you know, what really impresses me the most, that you can go through a conference of the caliber of the Big East and win 32 out of 36 games is amazing.
This year they'll get a big test from Villanova and Georgetown. Pat Kennedy, before he came, they've been in 4 NCAAs, 4 20-win seasons. Under Pat, 5 times to the Big Dance, and 4 20-win seasons in his previous 9 years.
Well, the last 2 years have really been tough here. 12-15 last year, a losing year the year before. But prior to that, they went 5 out of 6 years, as you said, to the Big Dance.
0 for 7 on a bad-looking jumper by James Collins. Sheffer, and that's a 3. It's 11-0.
They run so well in transition to spots on the floor. He ran to that spot, caught the basketball, squared up, and knocked down the trifecta.
Collins over the trap. Curry back door. Knight made him adjust the shot. Corey Lewis draws a foul.
Lewis had some big games last year, 26 against North Carolina. You know, mentioned in the zone, Michelangelo Dean Smith's been utilizing the zone down at Chapel Hill this year because he's not a very deep team, and he's created a lot of problems. I know when he blew out Stanford and Tulane, he played a lot of zone.
Ricky Moore checks in. When he comes into the game, the gears will change. It'll go into a little faster gear for UConn. They've had a great pace already. And here's Corey Lewis, the big sophomore out of Miami.
They're really high on Moore. Moore from out of Georgia was runner-up for Player of the Year to Sharif Abdul-Rahim, who's dominating down in California. Where they got good news, that Tremaine Folks will be eligible after 14 games. You watch California when they get Mr. Folks to join Sharif.
There's Luckman picking up the loose ball off the miss. So the Seminoles get a point, but they still do not have a field goal.
What they have to do offensively is really make the extra pass. They're shooting the ball a little bit too quick. They got to reverse the ball. There it is. Swing the ball. Try and get a little bit more motion offensively.
Collins for Curry. Now they get inside to Lewis. Little to the left on the turnaround, and there was Ray Allen way up there. He's averaging 8 boards a game.
Well, the NBA scouts love him. Whenever they talk about Ray Allen, they put him with the big 4. Duncan, certainly Tamby, and Kerry Kittles.
There are 11 NBA teams here tonight with their scouts watching. Allen draws the foul.
What a team the All-World University Games team must have been when you had Allen and Kittles and you had people like Iverson. Just think about the quality of players in the Big East in terms of star quality with Iverson, Kittles, and Allen. I'd want to buy tickets for that, and I don't like to give the cash up, Bob.
We know that.
This guy's never bought me a meal yet.
You get a lot of free rides, though. That's 4 for Ray Allen. 1,274 points in his career. He's just climbing up the ladder. He's number 17 on the UConn chart at the moment.
What a great job they have done recruiting down in Connecticut. When you look at their roster, and you know you got to credit a lot. Howie Dickerman, what a job he does as an assistant coach in recruiting. The guy can flat out cover the nation.
And don't sell him short, Dick. He's the associate coach. He got that title in his 14th year.
He just doesn't want to be sold short when he gets the paycheck.
A bounce pass down to Lewis. Daron Sheffer was in there. There's Eric Hayward, the big UConn senior.
He's got a lot of experience. Hayward started 2 years ago.
He just got his first foul. We've got our first timeout. And the Seminoles need a breather. At home, 4.5 in. They're down by 11.
Team, yet I don't think we're as good as we were last year. Now, we started off 15-0 last year, so that's a lot to ask any team. But, you know, we lost 3 really good players and 3 players who scored over 1,000 points for us, and that's an awful lot to ask.
Those 3 players, Donnie Marshall, Kevin Ollie, and Brian Fair. Marshall, all Big East, second-round choice of the Cavaliers.
Yeah, he's on a roster with the Cavaliers right now. Ollie's playing in the CBA. I thought he was the glue. Kevin Ollie really pushed the ball up the court, was tough defensively. And Brian Fair always gave you the potential at a big perimeter shot.
Yeah, he was a 10 points per game guy coming off the bench last year when the Huskies went 28-5.
What a great rebuilding job for this program at Connecticut under Jim Calhoun. He's been really unreal, so consistent. And he said earlier, he said, I want to be one of the best programs in America. I just don't want to have a good team.
Corey Lewis couldn't get the roll. Luckman keeps it alive. Who's the foul on? There's some of the improvement that we've seen in Kirk Luckman since he spent the summer at the Mark Ivaroni Big Man Camp. He lost 10% body fat, but he gained 10 pounds in sheer muscle.
There's the little jump shot. Now we're going to watch Luckman working on the inside. Got a lot stronger physically.
He receives it and puts it on the wing. Nothing there for Greer. Lamar Greer, ball handling skills. It reminds some Seminole fans of George McLeod, who played here in the 80s.
Yeah, McLeod doing a good job with the Dallas Mavericks. He had 12 assists against the ball, had 8 rebounds, very versatile. A key to this club. Last year they had a lack of stability at that point guard slot, and it created a nightmare for Pat Kennedy.
Boy, they can't create anything against this half-court defense of UConn.
Well, you know, it's pretty tough. If you're not going to knock this shot down, you got to make that.
Finally, Avery Curry
And he says, where's my jump shot? It finally came back. It's been on sabbatical.
He came into this game 9 for 40 and
Wow.
3 for 20 from three-point range.
Oh, you shouldn't say those numbers. I promised him I wouldn't say he was 3 for 20.
I promised him I wouldn't mention him until he made one. And he just made his first one. Here's Sheffer. Using the glass, not high enough. Corey Lewis has it, and the Seminoles will run.
They got to try to get some opportunities in terms of transition.
They didn't get any spacing on that break, and Lewis was right next to Greer. It was more of a handoff than a pass.
Well, maybe they thought it was football country. You got to hand the ball off. Looking for Mr. Dunn on a slant to off tackle. We're going to watch a little dump down right here. He says, yeah, take it up, Corey. Hey, I like the way you analyze that about spacing. I mean, maybe we should reverse roles. Get a tattoo. You got to get a tattoo. I got to get you a tattoo. That's what I need. A tattoo, toupee, and I'll be in great shape.
That's all you need. I tell you, the Seminoles need a little more offense here. Down by 8. They're showing signs of life as Lamar Greer goes to the line.
Well, the guy that's really been quiet is James Collins. And James, as you said, had those problems that were documented in the paper today. A misdemeanor charge against him for stalking his girlfriend. He's also returned a charge against her, I understand, a restraining order, asking for a restraining order.
Yeah, earlier in this sequence, he obtained a restraining order against his ex-girlfriend. And the trial date, at least the court date, set for January 2nd. Fans thought Ricky Moore turned it over. Frank Scagliano said no. He's working with Larry Rose and Tim Higgins on the veteran crew tonight.
They're really high on Moore. Jimmy Calhoun thinks he's going to be one of the special point guards of Connecticut.
12-6 UConn.
He's got explosive ability to the basket. Penetrator.
That was Rashamel Jones picking it on the wing. Nothing happening there.
Jones a slasher. He can put some points on the board. Was a great high school scorer.
Collins looking like he wants to go all the way. Got a little shove as he went by.
They really have no rhythm right now offensively when you look at Florida State. They're playing with any kind of rhythm at all.
Foul on Rashamel Jones, and checking into the game, a young man that Jim Calhoun and Dean Smith wanted badly, Randall Jackson, a 6'11 freshman out of Winchendon High School in Boston.
Yeah, he played at the same school as Victor Page played there from out of Georgetown. He told me tonight, very close to going to North Carolina.
Pat Kennedy says he could play the 3 position. He handles the ball so well at 6'11.
Great shot blocker as well. There's the trap.
Kept alive. This is Greer with the jumper.
Whenever you see that trap, you got to create passing lanes. You got to be able to step and move to the basketball.
A fresh 35 for the Seminoles as Randall Jackson helped to keep it alive.
Greer gives him great size in that backcourt.
12-6. It was 12-1. UConn early. Good ball movement by the Seminoles.
Trying to overload against the zone, trying to get into the gap and seams. You got to step into that gap. See, they're trying to overload on this side, and Connecticut doing a great job matching up out of that zone.
Lewis with the fadeaway. He's a lot better closer to the basket, though. Travis Knight, the rebound.
Well, he took a bad angle right there. Didn't give himself a good look on that jump shot.
I think UConn will let him take a few shots out there.
Well, he's not in rebounding position either for a follow.
There's Moore running the UConn offense. Rashamel Jones with the dribble and the jumper and a couple.
He'll be the next big star at Connecticut. Just give him time to grow. Right now he's playing in a role, but ultimately he'll be part of the star parade at Connecticut. They've had so many.
He's a freshman getting 17 minutes a game.
Think of the stars they've had with Chris Smith, Tate George, Danielle Marshall, Scotty Burrell,
and Donnie Marshall.
Yeah, he had some great games last year, Donnie Marshall. There's that 2-3 zone. They're going to really make them prove that they can shoot the basketball.
Haven't proven anything yet. Florida State came into the game shooting 51%. They're having a nightmare at home so far.
They got to get a little bit more on the inside. You got to drive the ball into the seams of that zone, bring it into the gut and the heart, and then use inside-outside action.
8 minutes and 19 seconds in. UConn by 8. It's a bit of a struggle right now.
Now Connecticut's trying to get into their 2-2-1 press. They want to get into this pressure. We're going to see him right here. You see this? They're going to try to get into this. Now this is the open area. He's got to post to that area, and he's not coming to that area. Look at the hole right there. Now they're going to get into their 2-2-1 alive. Freeze it right here. See the 2-2 guys? Look at this right here. And then the guy deep. That's the 2-2-1 right there. That's what the alignment looks like.
And they have caused Florida State nightmares so far.
Well,
Seminoles 1 of 14 from the field.
You got to step to the open area, that 2-2-1.
Sheffer for Travis Knight. On the way up, it was blocked by Randall Jackson. This is Brower who just checked in. Got it back, couldn't get the basket.
Brower's on the court to shoot the basketball. Excellent shooter.
Rudy Johnson. No call. Basket goes in.
Rudy Johnson, very athletic, experienced, a fifth-year player. And now Connecticut loves to score and jump right into that press.
They go up by 10 with that basket.
See, nobody's posting up. You got to post somebody up, use him as a postman, and look opposite.
Brower's pass deflected. Here comes Rudy again.
Rudy Johnson, he's back in Florida. He's all pumped up. He said, I'm home, baby. I'm from Jacksonville, and I'm going to be the star. Not James Collins from Jacksonville.
Pat Kennedy used a 20 earlier. Takes a full timeout here. His team's in big trouble, and it's still early. Be on plays of the week. They better start making some plays here in Tallahassee.
Yeah, well, they haven't been able to make plays, and really that pressure's bothering them, and they're a spurt team. Hey, look at Howie Dickerman sitting right here next to Jim Calhoun. Does a great job of recruiting. Hey, early they've signed Michael LeBlanc from out of Texas. They got Jake Voskuhl, his teammate, and they also have Sam Funches coming in next year from Moore High School in Jackson. This guy's ready for a head coaching job, and they're after a kid. You ready for this? Vasil Eftemov. He's from Long Island Lutheran. I probably messed up the pronunciations. Bulgaria, and Dean Smith wants him badly. 6'10".
By the way, Howie plays a little high post defense on game days, and I estimate he fouled out 3 to 4 times at the shoot-around this morning.
I like his do. Look at his do. Howie's got a do up on top. The Howie do. He's ready for a head job.
He was ready for action today as UConn had one of the great game day practices that I've ever witnessed. Very intense, very emotional, and that's the way they go after it every day.
Well, very similar to both Massachusetts and also Kentucky on game day.
Corey Lewis short, Ray Allen the rebound. Allen got a long breather. Nice little scoop down there in the baseline, and that is Rudy Johnson again. Dick, he's got 9 already.
He's really fired up playing here in the state of Florida. There he is now playing a point of the pressure.
And he gets a foul at midcourt.
What they're doing is changing the look of that press. They go from a 2-2-1 to a 1-2-1-1. Jim Calhoun, a master on that bench. Now look at him drive along the baseline, and then he shows that agility to be able to come back and knife and slide and glide with his body.
Avery Curry back into the game for FSU. Rudy Johnson just picked up his first foul.
We said on the top of the show the key was whether or not they can handle Connecticut's pressure and whether they can shoot the ball well enough. And tonight the answer has been they've really struggled in both areas.
Collins way out there. Sheffer for Allen.
Hello,
Little double pump.
Little double pump, clutch time, transition. The bench loves it. No one rotated back.
22-6 UConn.
Well, I'll tell you, it's exam week, and right now Florida State is faced with an exam here against Connecticut, and they're not getting a good grade right now, Mr. Carpenter.
No, it's UConn acing it so far. Sheffer, one touch underneath. The reverse won't go. Luckman the rebound off the Rudy Johnson miss.
Sheffer has so much experience playing in Israel. Was in the Army for 3 years.
Offensive foul on Lamar Greer.
Pat Kennedy's club is struggling so big time. I remember Jimmy V telling him when Jimmy V was doing television, he says, Pat, to be able to survive in a big time in the ACC, you better have 3 NBA players in your lineup. And when he had those kind of players with Sura and Sammy Cassell and Rodney Dobard and people like that, they did very well.
Well, you saw Sheffer, who came over from Israel to play. He handles the ball out on the top of the attack. Allen, so quick. Just can't finish it. Luckman, the rebound.
He's got that great first step.
It's even hard to find an outlet pass for this club right now, the way UConn's playing defense. Nothing there underneath for Avery Curry.
The loss that they had against Iowa, they were down 20, came back and took a 3-point lead with like hardly any time on the clock, and then Kingsbury knocked down a 3 to send it to OT, and they got beaten OT. Then they came back and they put the hurt big time on Indiana.
Avery Curry the foul.
Look at that shooting.
Oh.
Look at that shooting. I mean, are you serious? That's Bob Carpenter shooting. I mean, 1 for 19. That's Gary Miller. I know Miller's stroking it right now. I mean, he's working on his jump shot, and he strokes it like that.
Is there a three-point line in the studio? That's what I'm wondering.
That's probably Berman working on it. Berman's a member of my all-wide body team, though.
There's Scheffler out on top. Now the shot clock's heading down to 10 right now. Underneath, deflected by the freshman, Randall Jackson. And Travis Knight will return for the Huskies. Travis with a couple of points so far.
From out of Utah, told me tonight, he said, my younger brother Nathan's quite a player. He said, but my mom's not going to let him get out of that area. He said, I told Howie Dickerman not to waste any time.
Knight, with only 9 on the shot clock when they inbounded that ball, the quick basket.
Well, they ran a perfect special situation play. Nobody rotated back. Look at his drought. Are you serious? The last 6:08. Wow.
And to expand on that, 1 field goal in the last 11:55 until that one.
That was one sequence where they went diagonal, looked opposite, and they came up with a score. They had some motion on offense. They brought the ball into the gut of the defense, which we talked about earlier, and then reversed it to the weak side and got a score. He's going to take the ball up strong. He finishes the play after the post move that got him the basketball.
Collins, good size. He's at 6'4", 190. And he took a hit there from 6'8", 235, Kirk King on the way to the basket.
A lot of NBA scouts really like him. The guys I've talked to said he is definitely a #2 guard headed for the big leagues.
Collins' first points of the night. It came at a good time for the Seminoles with 8 minutes to go. 2 field goals in the first 11:55, and Scheffler easy at the other end.
What a great sequence. They invert offensively and bring the guard to the baseline, post them up, Scheffler against Curry, and he gets the easy deuce.
Scott Shepard's pass clears the timeline. He just checked in. Frank Scagliotta says, nope, he stepped on the out-of-bounds line. It goes back to UConn on the turnover.
We're going to watch the play. Look at Scheffler now. Freeze it. Freeze it. See him right here? There he is posting. They're going to throw the ball up on top, and they're going to get the easy score. They're just going to dump it up. Beautiful play right there. Invert, take Scheffler, shows his versatility.
Ray Allen on the wing for UConn. They're up by 17. Scheffler for Knight.
Playing so well. That's the thing that's impressed me, both offensively and defensively.
Allen just finds his own little seam in there. And Ray's got 8. He's averaging 24.
And then back to that 2-2-1 pressure. I really believe that teams that like to press, like Connecticut, you got to also press them back.
Helps if you make a basket. A foul and a jam by Randall Jackson.
Randall Jackson with that baseline jam. See, I really believe with shot blockers like Lewis and Jackson, you can extend defensively and put some pressure on UConn. There's the little dump down. He drives, draws, and Jackson finishes it off. Oh, nice little dump inside, and there's Jackson, very agile on the baseline. See, my argument is this, Bob. Whenever you got a team that's coming after you full court, especially a team that's on the road, you got to return the favor on your home court, especially with the personnel. When you look at Florida State, they're very athletic. Nobody gets mad.
That's Ricky Moore to Ray Allen, and Allen is into double figures. A great assist by the freshman out of Augusta.
Well, they're being out-hustled right now. The Seminoles are being flat-out out-hustled. You don't get back defensively and give up layups like that. That's a sign of being out-hustled.
Luckman, and it's no connection there. Here comes Allen, then Luckman tries to steal it in midcourt. On the floor, the possession arrow belongs to UConn.
I'll tell you, the UConn Huskies have been an amazing story under Jim Calhoun, just like John Calipari up at Mass. In fact, they should play. They should do a story outside the lines about them. They should play both those teams.
Well, give Bob Lee an idea, Dick, and he'll do it this week. He talks about the Cleveland situation, the latest in the Browns move, and a look into team moves and the owner's reasons in the NFL. Friday, 9 p.m. Eastern. It's Outside the Lines, the award-winning series hosted by our own Bob Lee.
He does a phenomenal job, Mr. Lee. Hey, you should never be allowed to take the name. The Browns should stay in Cleveland as far as the name.
You said it. Here's Shepard for Florida State. Little guard. Would have been their point man a couple of years ago, but he got hurt, and he drains the 3.
He can shoot the ball. Comes from a family where they had shooters.
Yeah, Dad Billy, Uncle David out of Carmel, Indiana.
Both were Mr. Basketball. Dad in 68, Uncle in 70. He's got a brother right now playing at Huntington College, averaging about 20 a game. Jeff.
Second foul on Kirk Luckman, who's been held scoreless so far. He had 2 exams yesterday and 2 today, so Kirk has a lot on his mind as well.
And he's got a big exam tonight against Travis Knight and company.
Yeah, the ultimate graduation could be at stake there. There's a foul from behind. It'll be on Antrick Kleber, who gets his second foul. He's averaging 9 minutes a game off the bench.
They like Kleber. They think that he's going to be an excellent player. Great size. He's got touch. Just has to get a lot stronger. But they feel he's going to be a heck of a player. He played for Fred Brown. Brown played for Georgetown. In fact, Brown was the guy on the team in 1982 when they got beat by North Carolina and a young diaper dandy by the name of Michael Jordan.
James Collins looking for his 4th point after the Kleber foul. Just checking into the game a moment ago for UConn, young man from Odessa of the Ukraine, Ruslan Inyatkin, who played at Hall High School in West Hartford.
I'll tell you, Inyatkin's out of Florida. They come from all over. I mean, you talk about a team that's all universe. You look at UConn. I mean, it's incredible. And what fan interest. In fact, the women's program, you ready for this? They sell out 9,000, and they turn back them over 2,000 season ticket applications.
UConn women number 3 in the nation at 8-1 this week, Dick. And the men aren't doing bad either. They're number 8 at 6-1.
Well,
we remember last year when they were both number 1.
I like the little Rosati. She can flat out play.
Rashimel Jones on the drive, and Florida State will have it back. Randall Jackson's been a spark since coming in.
There he is with the block shot. We talked about his shot blocking ability. He and Corey Lewis trying to dribble through that zone press.
Had a hard time holding on to the pass because of big Eric Hayward. Shepard again!
Hey, Shepard is giving him a little life, baby. And they love it in Seminole land. They're getting a little live here. It must be like Danny Cadillo throwing a bomb out to Cooper.
They've got it back to 10. Sheffer on the drive. Rashimel Jones finishes for UConn.
See, he's a slasher. He's a driver, a big-time scorer, over 2,000 points in high school.
Here's Collins. Right side Curry.
I like what they're doing now. Now they're attacking the pressure. They're going right after the pressure rather than playing passive and retreating. We're going to watch Shepard now square his body. And if there's a kid from Hoosier land, you know they can shoot the rock, baby. And he's from Hoosier land. Look at him. He said, just like my dad, baby. Look, he's got a tattoo, too.
His dad, Billy, scored 2,465 points. His uncle David over 2,200. And Scott, he only was number 3 at 1,777.
What about his mom? How much did she score? You got everything else.
I think Mom outshot them all.
This guy's a key right now for this team. Curry's got to find his shot. He's a much better shooter than 25%. He made 6 big free throws down the stretch after they nearly blew a lead against DePaul.
Avery Curry gets it down. And tonight, after our action, we've got some ice under this floor here at the Leon County Civic Center. Iserman and Brett Hull will be on the ice as the Red Wings and the Blues do battle at 9 o'clock Eastern right after our game here tonight. We'll get you updated on that one. Grant Fuhrer will probably be back in the nets for St. Louis, the busiest goaltender in the NHL.
I'll tell you, they got some people off the bench that can play Florida State. A lot of people I've talked to say they're as talented as anybody else in the ACC. There's that shot blocking ability.
That was James Collins. They blocked 4 shots tonight. Collins wants to do it all here. Can Shepard hit again?
Oh, he's on fire. He's on fire. The little guy. Uncle Mo has arrived with the trifecta.
They've got it back to 7. Unbelievably quick.
Well, that's 3 big trifectas by Shepard.
Florida State has hit 5 straight field goals now. Sheffer tries to answer. Short. Jackson keeps it alive. Curry's got it. 2-on-1. He'll go it alone. And the rebound by Ray Allen of UConn.
Should have handed that ball off. Had Shepard on the left. Little handoff for a layup.
He can't finish. Got his own. Shepard the loose ball.
Since the threes have been falling from Shepard, I see a much quicker team in Florida State. They're much more aggressive. They got a little more bounce in their game. They seem to be a little livelier.
Not bad for a guy who scored 6 points in 4 games.
And he hadn't any pre-PT. Needs some playing time.
Seminoles will get it back. Hard work by Corey Lewis on the baseline.
They got to get Lewis a little involved on the inside. Got to get him to rock in the interior.
3:31 before halftime. We are rocking in Tallahassee now.
Hey, Bob, we're going to see that real special dimension, shot blocking ability. And we're going to see this right now on the inside by Florida State. There's James Collins with the jam. Now watch how they take the block shot and they run it up the court for the three. Right here. Freeze it. Oh, see how he's right here. Mr. Shepard is running to the three-point line, and they're going to kick it out to him for a three. You watch it right now. There it is. Squares his body, just like the kids do in Hoosier Land. You know, they shoot that in the garage area. They got that pavement, and they love to stroke that jumper. Oh, contact lens problem. I had a problem today, Bob. My contact lens. I was on my knees crawling. I was ready to call you and say, please help me, Bob. I couldn't find it. I was crawling and crawling, and I needed some help.
Scott Shepard has everything in his sights right now. He's hit 3 threes. He was to be their starter at point guard 2 years ago, but he broke his ankle his sophomore year. He's the only senior on this Florida State team.
Now they got to D it up. They got to play on the defensive end.
Allen for Johnson. Look at him go, but he's way too strong, and Shepard gets the rebound. He is fired up.
Connecticut needs a lift right now, and Ray Allen's the guy that's got to step it up, the All-American.
They've hit 1 of their last 9 shots. Florida State 5 of their last 7 going into that timeout.
Well, the adjustment by Jim Calhoun now into the man-to-man to take the three-point shot away from Shepard.
Jackson couldn't hit. Rebound Ray Allen.
Oh, nobody rotates back. That's a no-no. That's a no-no in college basketball. You got to have balance. As soon as a shot goes up, someone's got to rotate back. Great decision by Mr. Calhoun going to the man-to-man.
Collins looking for a lane to the hoop. Lost it on the floor. Knight battles. Possession arrow belongs to Florida State. Referee Larry Rose down there in that melee with help from Tim Higgins.
Connecticut always thinking to get the ball out. Now watch on the missed shot. No one rotates back. Look at 5 guys all staring, standing on the interior. 5 guys on the interior, nobody back, and Johnson sneaks out for a quick layup.
Rudy Johnson has 11 points. Almost double his average all here in the first half.
You usually like to have a man and a half back. A guy deep and a guy at the foul lane, and 3 guys attacking the glass.
Shot clock at 5. Shepard again.
Out of
little
range.
short.
Out of his range.
But he got the rebound.
He's very, very deep there.
Collins couldn't get the roll, and Shepard pulls it down for the Huskies.
Shepard gives him a special dimension. He's an excellent rebounder for a guard.
They had numbers at 3-on-2, and when Shepard picked it up, he was touching the baseline. 2 minutes and 4 seconds remaining. Gary Miller's in the studio tonight. We'll give you his menu for our Delta Faucet halftime report that's coming up.
I'll tell you, take a look at that Big East, and certainly Villanova looked outstanding the other day against Purdue. Kerry Kittle's just a tremendous player, but their 2 big guys really woke up. And there's the 2-2-1, Cornegay and Lawson.
Greer quick around Knight to clear the pressure.
Let's see if they go back in the man-to-man zone. They're back in the man-to-man. See, the man-to-man takes away the ability of Shepard to get a good look at the goal.
Corey Lewis and a reach-in takeaway by Eric Hayward.
Hayward got a lot of experience. 2 years ago, he was a starter.
Had a good NCAA tournament last spring. There he is against Lewis. He just sealed his man off and got the layup, his first basket.
Well, he gives him a power player on the interior. Last year, he played well in the NCAAs, had a good game against Tennessee, Chattanooga.
Then he had 12 against Maryland.
Yeah, they beat Cincinnati in the second round, and then they had that shootout with UCLA, a great game. Kids love that game. You like to play in that kind of pace.
Yeah, they went to the Elite 8 before falling to the eventual champions at Oakland.
102-96.
They've been to the Final Four. Excuse me, the Elite 8 twice and the Sweet 16 2 other times under Jim Calhoun.
Lost that heartbreaker in 1990. Christian Leitner with that last-second shot.
Last minute. Washington Jones for Ray Allen. He fights off the double team. Somebody's got to be open. Jackson, there's a whistle on a foul.
See, the one thing they really do well, Connecticut, they get excellent spacing offensively. They are so well drilled. Jimmy Calhoun did a great job at Northeastern as well. And there's the drive along the baseline. There's Sheffer, and there's the rotation over. Jackson's got tremendous shot blocking ability. When you think of Jackson and Corey Lewis, they're both very young. Second-year player and a first-year player.
Orlando Magic in the Meadowlands tonight. Millbury controlling the Islanders, and 7 days to remember. That's coming up on the Delta Faucet halftime report. Gary Miller anchoring things for us tonight. Jerome Sheffer at the line. I asked him what's been his biggest thrill about coming over to this country and playing basketball. He said the sheer atmosphere in the different arenas that UConn visits, and of course their great home court at Gamble Pavilion. They played downtown Hartford some, but the sheer excitement of the college game is what has left an impression with him.
That Gamble Pavilion is something special. It really rocks. To me, that's the true essence of what college basketball, just like down at Cameron Indoor Stadium.
You know, I was just going to ask you, is that the Cameron of the Northeast?
Yeah, I really believe that. I really like it. It has that kind of environment. The youngsters are right on top of the court. The fans.
Randall Jackson couldn't knock it down. Great work by Travis Knight at the defensive end.
I'll tell you why Connecticut's a very good basketball team. They're strong on the perimeter when you look at Sheffer. They're strong on the wings with Allen. And they're strong with the big guy inside Knight. So they cover all three key areas of the floor.
Shot clock is off. Daron Sheffer handling it. That's Knight out of the high post. Under 10.
He's going to look for Jones.
Rochamel for three. That's a big one.
I mean, they set that up all the way. You could see it coming. I mean, they telegraphed that, baby. Everybody in the place could see it happening. Great execution by the UConn Huskies, baby.
Florida State goes one for its first 19, battles back, but now UConn leads by 15 into the break. Gary Miller, the Seminoles have a lot of work coming up when we return in a while for the second half.
Okay, thanks a lot, Bob and Dick, and I guess the chalkboard will be out, and we'll see.
ESPN's presentation of NCAA basketball is brought to you by Panasonic Smooth Operator Electric Razors. Wetter is better.
Well, we've seen some unusual things here tonight. Some guys who don't normally score a whole lot have. Huskies by 15 at the half. We're talking about Scott Shepard of Florida State and Rudy Johnson, who's really come up big, along with Ray Allen for UConn.
Hey, Bob, I thought I saw it all when Purdue went 9 for 33 against Villanova Saturday, but 6 for 33 is not going to get it done on your home floor. Florida State, Brick City, USA. James Collins didn't rise to the occasion, but this guy did. Ray Allen, the superstar, had 10 points in the first half. But a key, take a look at the 2-2-1 press right now. Freeze it. Right here, you're going to see the alignment. There's the 2-2-1. They're going to throw the ball over the top, and they think they got it beat. But oh no, baby, watch the rotation now by Connecticut. There's the rotation. They come out with the steal, and Rudy Johnson, who was a star of stars in the first half, had 10 points. And the only bright light, Mr. Shepard went 3 for 4. If you take that away, they were 3 for 29, baby. And now he goes to the pine. He says, why am I sitting on a pine? I should be on the floor. He said, hey, please, somebody tell him I was 3 for 4.
Unbelievable that he would have as many field goals as the rest of the team. Florida State down by 15 at the half. It's Daron Sheffer with it for UConn as we start the final 20 minutes.
I can't believe all the bricklayers I've been looking at lately. I mean, in my travels. What's happening to the art of shooting the basketball?
Around the perimeter go the Huskies.
Everybody wants a drive. Everybody wants a high rise. They go to the playgrounds and they play in the summer, and everybody wants to take it to the goal.
Also number 11,
Avery Curry with the foul, and look at that shooting, 18%, and Dick down the bottom line, the inside game of UConn.
Well, that shows you that Connecticut got any shots they wanted, 24 on the interior.
Here's Allen. He's a guy who can get down there and rebound and score.
James Collins has got to step up in the second half.
Kirk King couldn't get the roll. Knight had a touch, saved by the Seminoles. And it'll belong to UConn as Corey Lewis was trying to keep it alive on that baseline.
Very quiet crowd, and you can understand why. The team dictates really the eruption of a crowd by the way they play. Man-to-man defense. Connecticut really trying to execute off their wings, down screens. There's a nice down screen two-man game.
Allen posting up. Knight had a touch. It was knocked away from him. And the Seminoles have numbers, 4-on-2. They'll take the long jumper. They had 4-on-2 and shot from 20 feet plus.
Exactly. Got to give up the basketball. Got to make the extra pass. Got to put the defense on its heels. You got to attack the defense.
Sheffer. And the rebound by Kirk Luckman, who had 4 rebounds, 1 shot without a point in the first half.
I asked Jim Calhoun about the shooting of Sheffer. He said, I'm not worried about his shooting. He said, Dick, he shoots beautifully in practice every day, leads us on the charts. He said in the game, he sometimes shot selection, but the bottom line is, he said, he's got excellent touch.
Yeah, he shot 6 for 17 against Iowa when they lost in OT in the Great Alaska Shootout. Then Derone went 1 for 10 against BC when they eked out a 63-62 win at home the other day, their first big East win. Then they went to Notre Dame and beat the Irish by 20, so they've already played 2 conference games.
Well, you know, you talk about conference play. You look at the ACC, there aren't any automatics. The ACC this year doesn't have what we call that super heavyweight team. They don't have a Michael Tyson up on top, but they really have loads of very good basketball teams. There'll be no automatics. North Carolina State with Fuller certainly is going to be solid. And then you take a look at Clemson, and they got a heck of a basketball team, and that they're going to create havoc, especially at home with Barnes' team.
There's Knight. The dump down to Hayward.
Score the basket.
That'll be goaltending on Corey Lewis.
See, Hayward really knows his strengths. And that's another strength of Jim Calhoun, to break down his players' efficiency and know where they can really operate effectively. And there is Hayward. He knows that he's effective inside. And anytime you block that ball directly in front of the hoop like that, you can almost count on a goaltender.
Collins for Lewis. Corey too hard. There's Luckman. Rejected by Travis Knight.
Connecticut gets it right out quickly in transition.
Sheffer for 3.
Better get a timeout, Pat. Just getting ready for a little blowout city.
UConn by 19. That's their biggest lead.
Really disappointed. I thought that I would see Florida State here play with a little bit more intensity, a little bit more emotion. It was a chance right now to play against a quality team, to rise, to prove you can play. And psychologically, they need a big win for this program. It's been really down here the last 2 years.
Yeah, last year they won 12 games, 13 the year before that. And in the previous 3, the Seminoles had won 22, 21, and 25 with guys like Doug Edwards, Sam Cassell, Charlie Ward, Bobby Sura,
well,
who left here last year as the all-time leading scorer at Florida State.
Well, certainly Sam, outstanding player now with Houston. Hey, it's about time Rudy T gets some recognition now at Houston. What a job he has done with the Rockets. You mentioned those great years. They were 25-10, 22-10, 21-11.
Luckman, lots of traffic, dribbles through it.
Nice move right there by Luckman.
His first basket.
Slid through the lane.
Sheffer couldn't hit the close one.
Luckman with a good rebound. They got numbers.
Intercepted. There's Ray Allen getting back, just like you talked about earlier.
Hey, I'll tell you one thing. He looked like a defensive back. Wow. The conversion.
And then they beat the Seminoles back down the other way.
Yeah, I think Ray Allen could be a defensive back. I really think somebody should call up the Dallas Cowboys. I mean, they like to draft basketball players.
You might make a lot of money, too.
I think he's too smart. He doesn't want that helmet, baby. He doesn't want that helmet.
A travel called on James Collins.
There's a frustration in Pat Kennedy on that sideline.
He ran into a brick wall called Eric Hayward at 6'7", 250. Ouch. Pat Kennedy all over Frank Scagliotta.
Yeah, but Scagliotta can't understand his Irish. He can't understand it at all. He says, I'll let him say whatever he wants.
What, guys from Pennsylvania can't understand guys from Jersey?
I'll tell you one thing, Pat played at King's College until they saw that he couldn't shoot and he became an assistant coach.
Ray Allen drains the 3, and it is getting ugly for the home team. Pat wants a timeout.
I really like this Connecticut team. They got athletes, they got size, they got shooters. This club is going to be tough again in that Big East. Hey, watch Syracuse in a Big East. Jimmy Boeheim slowly is putting together a nice ball club.
Less than 4 minutes into the second half. And UConn stretches a 15-point halftime lead out to 22, 50-28. State down by 22. They've dedicated this season to a fallen comrade, Aubrey Boyd. He was Pat Kennedy's first signee 10 years ago, Dick. He was playing in a pickup football game recently, paralyzed from the waist down. He's watching tonight from the Shepherd Center in Atlanta. We send our very best.
Well, Aubrey, we wish you a speedy recovery. He was a tough competitor when he played here in 1991. And as you can see right now, look at their shorts, AB, dedicating the season to Aubrey. Pat Kennedy, you talk about a compassionate guy. I watched him through the passing of his buddy Jimmy Valvano, and you could see the love that he had for Jimmy. Mentioning Jimmy, we got that big classic, the Meadowlands Classic. We can't wait for the Jimmy V Classic. It'll be Georgia Tech and Massachusetts, Kansas and Temple, but most of all for a great cause, to battle cancer, with all dollars going to the V Foundation.
Backdoor pass caught by Randall Jackson. He was determined to score or draw a foul.
Most people, when you talk about Florida State, the composition of their team, people around the ACC really like this club. But tonight we're seeing them being really just taken apart by an outstanding Connecticut team. I'm really impressed with Connecticut. Their depth, their size, their athletic ability, and the presence of a superstar in Ray Allen.
Jackson hits his 4th point of the night. Hey, our congrats to Rob Wilson, the sports information director here, his wife Cheryl. Birth of their first child, Preston Wilson, on Sunday. Congratulations. And the guy that he used to work with, our old buddy Wayne Hogan, finally got his athletic director's job. He's working up in Big Sky country up at Montana. And our congrats to Wayne, who was here for a long, long time. Very well deserved.
Well, you're laying out all those congratulations. How come you don't give me a congratulations?
On what?
Oh, I don't know.
For just showing up? For still being here at your age? Shepherd out on top, and they did check in Scott, the sharpshooter of tonight's game, at the timeout, Dick.
But as soon as they bring him on the floor, they rotate to the man-to-man, so he can't get into a gap and shoot that three-point shot.
Collins had his shot blocked from behind by Rudy Johnson, who's having a big night in his home state for the Huskies.
You know, you look at the resume of Jim Calhoun, and really the only thing missing is a trip to the big, big dance. When I call the big dance, the Final Four.
Yep.
And he's been so close.
Well, only North Carolina and Arkansas have been to more Sweet 16s in the 90s. He's been to 4. They've been to 5. Duke, Indiana, and Kansas have also gone to the Sweet 16 4 times.
And Jim's eyes light up whenever you put the name Connecticut with programs that have tradition and are established.
I'm going to ask you about one of those.
1-3-1 right now.
Dick, you've seen UMass this year.
Uh-oh.
They played so well early. Now get off the fence. Which of these two teams, these two neighbors, do you like?
Well, I'm going to tell you right now, after he shoots this jumper and we watch the offensive rebound, and I could think about this answer. I want to be a senator and be a little politician, but you know what? Calipari can't hear me right now because they're playing tonight. But you know who I like? I like Connecticut. And I'm going to tell you why I like Connecticut. I think when you look at UMass, they don't have enough in the perimeter. When you look at Connecticut, they have depth. And I really love the play of Ray Allen. I think his star play just in crunch time would be so special. Certainly Camby's a star for Massachusetts, but they're limited in that they don't have enough off the bench.
Well, there was a good rebound by Ray Allen. He couldn't finish. Out of bounds off Antrick Kleber of UConn. Florida State will get it back, desperately in need of a series of baskets now, down by 20, 14:44 to go.
Well, the bottom line is, though, Bob, that game should happen. Guys should put the egos aside. Mr. Calipari and Mr. Calhoun, the players want it. You look right now, the players want that game. The alumni want it. The fans want it. The media want it. Play it on a neutral court, but make it happen, guys. Make it happen. UConn and UMass.
You got it. Shepherd. Collins. And a bad-looking fall away by Randall Jackson. Trying to get the rebound. Daron Schaefer with his first foul of the night.
Florida State really shooting the ball so poorly. You can really credit half of that to the effectiveness of the defense of Connecticut, but also poor shot selection by Florida State.
Ricky Moore replaces Daron Schaefer. We'll have an inbounds play. James Collins will trigger it in. Quick feed to Luckman. Set play out of the dead ball situation. Travis Knight the rebound. Better get back. Rashamel Jones.
See, that's really disappointing to me. When I don't see a team scrap and hustle and rotate back defensively, that means they're not really playing with intensity.
22-point UConn lead. Here's Collins, alley-oop.
Oh, yes, throw it up on top. There's the athletic ability we're talking about. We talk about athletic ability, we mean quickness, we mean jumping ability, lateral quickness.
The rain and the storms knocked the roof off of this place a week ago, and Randall Jackson almost took it right back off.
Randall's going to be a heck of a player. That diaper dandy's got a lot of ability. Florida State now playing that 1-3-1 zone.
Knight keeps battling away and gets it down.
Great second effort. His mom jumps up out of her seat down there in Utah. She says, that's my big guy, Travis.
Out in Sandy, Utah. Former Utah Player of the Year. He played 3 years, though, at Ramona High School in California before transferring over.
Didn't his brother play at BYU?
I don't know.
Yeah, he had a brother that played at BYU.
Terrific athlete for a 7-footer. He can step outside with a little finesse and shoot the jumper as well. There's Ray Allen with the steal. He'll make it easily.
Hello, little Jam City. He's got the great bounce, the great legs. Mr. South Carolina, one of the 4 best in America, along with Tim Duncan, Marcus Camby, and Kerry Kittles. It's going to be really a race in the Big East for Player of the Year.
Shepard handling it, taken away. Rashamel Jones for UConn.
Jones scored over 2,000 points, 2,304 to be accurate. There it is.
He's got the 3. That's a dozen for the former New England and Connecticut Player of the Year. And another timeout.
From out of Trinity Catholic High School out of Stamford, Connecticut.
And Pat Kennedy has used all of his timeouts. And there's still 12:43 to go, down by 27. UConn up by 27 with a long way to go. And Jim Calhoun's been a big force with this club in the Big East. Look at the record against some of the top clubs the last 4 seasons. They've really knocked off some of the big boys and hammered the others. But the Seminoles, Dick Vitale, have not done so well against the Cavaliers, the Terrapins, Duke, and North Carolina.
Well, you know, a lot of teams don't do well against New Duke and North Carolina. But the bottom line is what you're trying to show. If you want to be in the upper echelon and be a highly rated national club, you got to beat some of the big people. You got to be able to compete with them. And Connecticut has, and over the last 4 years, Florida State has not.
Shepard double pumping way short.
Nobody back again. There's another layup.
Ricky Moore down to Rashamel Jones, and he's fouled by Jeff Brower. The shooting remains a hometown nightmare for the Seminoles tonight. Not much better since halftime. But, Dick, that discussion we had in defense of Pat Kennedy, in his first 4 years in the ACC, he has 34 wins. That's more than any other of the 8 ACC coaches had in their first 4 years. So it may take a while, but he's got it going in the right direction. Not so for James Collins, who's 1 for 9 tonight.
They're really having a tough day. And I really wonder if part of that is because mentally, maybe not focused here on the floor with all the publicity today about the charges.
The charges against James Collins, arrested early yesterday for allegedly stalking his ex-girlfriend. It's not a felony in the state of Florida. It's a first-degree misdemeanor. There's a court date set for January 2nd. Had to be very distracting within 24 hours of this tip-off.
I got to believe psychologically that's got to really wear on you.
Brower passing up a good shot.
Oh, little hook time. Little George Mikan style. The hook shot. A little Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Jackson knocking down the long hook. Knight saves it. Held in by Antrick Kleber of UConn.
Kleber's got great agility for a big player. You're looking at a 6'9" kid. He just got to get that frame a lot stronger. Sheffer has the great vision. You can see over the top of defenses with that great size. See, I think one of the keys to being really good on the collegiate level is backcourt play. And when you look at Connecticut, they have that with Sheffer and with Allen. And certainly now Moore is going to be a heck of a little guard. He led his team to 33-1 in high school, in the state title.
Shepard taken away. Little weak side help from the little fella, Scott Shepard, who's really been on the floor doing a lot of things. He had 3 rebounds and an assist in the first half.
Well, Ricky Moore played at Westside High School in Augusta. wonder if he's ever been down at the Augusta golf course down there. You play a little golf down there?
I've been down there 3 times for the Masters.
I've never been there.
It's an outdoor cathedral if you're a golfer.
Oh, hello. Right down to God.
Travis Knight with 10.
He's going to be an NBA first rounder. He can stroke the ball. They like big people in the NBA. There's that 2-2-1. It's just been really a nightmare today.
Collins for Luckman. A good look and a reach for a foul by Ricky Moore.
I really think when you look at Florida State, they got the parts of a team that can come out and pressure. They got certain people that got great athletic ability that I think they can extend. There's Jim Calhoun. He didn't think the sunshine was going to be that bright here today, boy. It is bright for him here. He's an intense competitor. He did a great job when he was at Northeastern. Had some outstanding teams.
Yeah, 250 wins, 5 NCAAs in 14 years. Luckman only his 3rd point of the night. Big doubleheader tomorrow night. Starts at 7:30. It's Minnesota and Cincinnati. They played up north last year. Down south this year, Villanova and Temple. Kerry Kittles and company. Number 2 behind Kansas this week. But Temple just got knocked off on their home court, that little McGonigal Hall, by Tulsa the other day. Steve Robinson's off to a 3-0 start there.
Hey, Tulsa's got a heck of a club, and they got a heck of a player in Shea Seals. Tubby Smith did a great job with that team.
Yeah, Tubby's at Georgia. They play Georgia Tech tomorrow night.
He's had a tough in recruiting, finished number 2, but don't get nervous about that, Tubby. I remember a year Michael Kay was finishing number 2 when they lost Chris Mullen and company, and he came back. Oh, hello!
Randall Jackson.
That's the athletic ability of Jackson.
He had a slam off of a half-court alley-oop at the end of the first half against DePaul that folks are still talking about around here.
He's going to be a special jammer. He's going to be a special player. He can run the court. You're looking at a kid with great size. That's why he was wanted by everyone. Coming out of the Boston, Massachusetts area. He was wanted by North Carolina badly. Many people thought he was going to go to the Tar Heels.
Kirk Luckman a foul a moment ago. Only the 3rd team foul against Florida State in the half.
You know, I mentioned in recruiting earlier about early recruits. I forgot that Connecticut also signed a kid by the name of Hartman, a junior college player who was going to go to Georgia. In fact, Georgia lost 3 kids in the last moment. Michael Brooker, they lost him to North Carolina, and then they lost the kid Dent. Remember the Rodney Dent that played at Kentucky? His brother Anthony Dent, the last minute, decided to go to Mr. Pitino in Kentucky.
Connecticut only has 1 ex-JUCO on their roster.
Hello, nobody rotates over. Up and away. Jam City, the All-American. He's a PTPer. He's awesome, baby. Mr. Allen.
He's got 17. The route is on, has been for a while.
Get out your filler material. Come on, get out your filler. We're going to throw out all kinds of goodies here today.
There's another one. Randall Jackson fouled on the way up. My filler material sitting next to me with a blue coat on.
As some guys would call me the human Phil. I mean, do you believe that? My guy Digger always says that. There's the drive by Allen. Nobody rotates over. He does it with authority. He's got a great attitude as well. Does Florida State trying to jam it to the inside? Gonna make you go to the free throw line. Eric says that lane, do not enter thy lane.
Especially if you're a freshman.
I can't wait for the matchup up at Gamble. We're gonna be there at courtside when Villanova hooks up with Connecticut.
That will be something. That game will be on January 8th on ESPN. One of 4 conference appearances the Huskies will have on the Total Sports Network. We'll see them on the Deuce against Providence in February.
Florida State's had a great early recruiting. Many people rated top 5 in the country. They got a kid, Devonair Dees, an outstanding guard, 6'5" from St. Thomas More in Connecticut. They signed a kid by the name of Ron Hale, an outstanding player. Kentucky wanted him. They beat out Kentucky for him, according to all their people. And then they got a kid by the name of Ronald Thompson as well. So, you know, that staff's done a great job. David Zimroth and company. So they're excited about the future with some of the people they're going to bring in with their young people, Lewis and Jackson. I don't think today we've seen the real Florida State team because James Collins has not been here. I got to believe those headlines today and the problems facing them and the court date on January 2nd really have wore on him today.
Pat Kennedy, Donnie Marsh, Tom Carlson, David Zimroth on his staff. And there's the 3 of them, Donnie, Tom, and David's a little bit further over to our left. David told me that when Tulane hit that shot the other night, it took the wind out of their sails, but it really reminded them of 1989 on this court when they were number 7 in the country. Louisville was number 10, and Everett Sullivan got him from the corner in OT with such a shot. Brought back a lot of bad memories. Ricky Moore in there scrapping away for UConn, and coming out with it, James Collins of Florida State.
I'll tell you, that was one of the most acrobatic shots, though, that running three-point shot by Honeycutt. Out of bounds, practically hanging on the baseline for Tulane in that big win.
Luckman the basket. Jerome Sheffer on the foul.
It's amazing, though. You look at the ACC, you could finish in the upper echelon, or you could be in the bottom very easily. Psychologically, this is a big year facing Pat Kennedy. He has got to get this club into the postseason to get this program mentally back where it was, because right now it's a flat situation, and he's very honest about that if you talk to him about it.
Hadn't been there since '93. Off the miss, Sheffer, the man who committed the foul, gets the rebound.
See the great size he has now, great vision. Notice, young people, look at his eyes. He's looking up all the time, looking for open people. Plus he can post inside, playing a screen, little down screen, comes back up out of the curl move. Oh, great back screen. What execution. Oh, I'd like to illustrate that, baby. What great execution. The back screen for the easy layup. Nobody communicated defensively. Nobody rotated over. They really quit in that sequence defensively.
Sheffer, the assist. Ray Allen, the basket. Ray's got 19. Brower dumps it to the wing. 3 will not go for Greer. Rebound, Travis Knight.
Well, he gets great position, Travis Knight. Blocks out. That's one of the final elements.
His 7th board. Luckman the intercept. Greer at the other end.
And there's Greer with the easy deuce after the conversion, after the steal.
One of less than a handful of easy baskets the Seminoles have received in this game.
For Jim Calhoun, you just got to worry a little bit about your club getting a little sloppy. You want them to play right to the end with some poise.
Under 8 minutes to go. 23 points the advantage for the Huskies, who are averaging 87 points a game. They've been outscoring their opponents at an average of 21 per night. Shot clock at 8. It just goes in from Allen, and he's got 22.
Ray Allen, he can go inside, outside, so explosive. That's what separates him. I'll tell you one thing. The bus driver, oh, they got a screen back here on Luckman. They got him with an illegal screen in the backcourt. On Ray Allen. A moving screen. You're not allowed to move. See him right there. He's moving right into the Ray Allen. You're not allowed to move.
Officials timeout. 7:34 remaining. The Huskies on cruise control. On the road. Usually a tough place to play, up by 26.
Great execution by Connecticut offensively. Take a look right now. We're going to watch Ray Allen on a back screen right here. Freeze it. See, right here, they're going to lay a back screen. Nobody communicates. He's going to go to the goal, and he's going to get an easy layup. You watch the back screen. There it is. Freeze it. See, right here, he sets the screen, and he gets the easy layup to the goal because nobody rotates over. That's a poor job of communicating, a poor job of stepping out, hedging, giving help, and closing off the angle.
Ray Allen gets a rest with 22. Named the 1995 USA Basketball Male Athlete of the Year for his outstanding international play that you mentioned earlier.
He's going to be a heck of a player at the next level. He and Kittles both. So is Iverson, the 3 of them. I mean, this conference is blessed with 3 superstars.
Will he be in stores next year?
And I'll tell you one thing, that kid at Syracuse is not bad either, John Wallace. Will he be at stores next year? I hope, because I'm prejudiced. I'd love to see him there, but I have my doubts.
Sheffer, short on the 3. That's Shepard from FSU getting it back from Avery Curry.
The only thing that might keep some players back the extra year is the fact that now with the rookie salary cap and with the situation that exists, many players might say, you know, why not stay back 4 years? We talked about it the other day, Bob. We did all the comparison when we did Camby and Duncan, and we talked about Olajuwon and Ewing and about the matchups with Alcindor against Hayes. There was one common denominator. All those big people, they all finished 4 years.
Well, in this league, Dean Smith knows all about guys going early. He lost 2 of the best.
You know what I'd like to do here, Bob, is I'd like to wish the best for a recovery to Lynn Carroll, who's recovering after major surgery, cancer surgery, right now in Urbana, Illinois. And we want to wish Lynn a speedy, speedy recovery.
Yes, we do. Up in Illini country,
A good friend of mine.
they will play Missouri on ESPN a week from tomorrow when they get together at the Kiel Center in St. Louis. The Blues and the Red Wings are at Kiel to play right after we finish here tonight in NHL action on ESPN. Here comes Shepard for the Seminoles. Skip pass over the top. Curry might have been standing out of bounds when he received it. That's a mental mistake.
Well, there's been a lot of mental mistakes here tonight. Mental mistakes, not hustling back on defense. Pat Kennedy's got to throw this film away. Don't even look at it. You'll get sick looking at it. It'll spoil his potential Christmas that's coming up down the road. And I say potential because as a former coach, I'm going to tell you something. There's nothing worse when at Christmas time you have a few L's, baby, and you become so moody. That's why I like my job now. You win every time.
Florida State in past years has not played any games during exams week. This year they did, and they are getting blown out at home by a very good top 10 basketball team, and probably higher than that by the time it's all over. 3 will not go. A familiar story as Collins missed. Lewis kept it alive. This is Shepard.
I've seen all the good clubs this year. I've been fortunate enough and been blessed to sit at courtside for Kentucky, for Mass, for Villanova. And I'm going to tell you, Connecticut's right there with all of them, Kansas included. Even though last year, Kansas blew them out. They were 15-0, and they went to play up in Jayhawk land, and they found out about life in Lawrence, baby.
Yeah.
It was blowout city. Was that, wait a minute, was that game in Lawrence or was it in Kemper?
Yeah, that game was up in the Northeast.
No, that game was in Kansas.
Was it?
But I didn't know if it was in Kemper or if it was over in Allen Fieldhouse.
Kemper Arena, we're told, in Kansas City. That's close enough.
See, I knew somebody would bail us out. I know we got those guys working in a truck, going to help us.
Only 6 points for their leading scorer tonight.
You know, he'll end up with double figures, but the bottom line is when they needed it in the first half to keep the game competitive, he wasn't there. Did not answer the call against Ray Allen and company.
1 for 10 on the night is James Collins.
He was 0 for 5 from three-point range in the first half. Connecticut execution, offensive efficiency, good screens, post-up moves.
Yeah, they play that 21 offense like UCLA used to with the 2 wings, the guards in the high post.
They're doing anything
Basket
they
and a
want.
foul.
Anything they want offensively. If they want to sit in a post down inside, they can sit in a post. If they want to spread the ball and kick it out for the open 3, they get that. They're getting anything they want. We're seeing nothing but matador defense, non-existent defense right now by the Seminoles.
Kurt King's first basket of the night.
He's got great legs. This is a kid that can really help this club. He's got tremendous physical body. He really loses confidence in himself. That's the word. He's got to believe a little bit more in himself. The coaches believe in him, but he's got to believe. It's quiet. I mean, it's so quiet. You're at a home facility.
It sounds like a study hall for exam week right now. Shepard just does keep it. Curry looks up, and from behind, Knight blocks him and fouls him.
Travis Knight, good sportsmanship, goes over, picks him up, rotated over from the rear, comes up with the block. There's Shepard, he deals it from the floor. Curry spots an opening, goes down the lane, and here comes Knight from the rear. Makes contact with his body.
That's what we mentioned earlier about the big guy being such a good athlete. Curry didn't think he needed to switch to the left hand for that layup, and then suddenly Knight came from nowhere.
It was Heartbreak Hotel and recruiting for Florida State last year when Mr. Basketball in Florida decided to go to North Carolina instead of Florida and Florida State. Vincent Carter, who has put some acrobatic jams on the board down at Chapel Hill.
Yeah, it won't be long for the Tar Heels to get it back.
Oh, they're back right now. I mean, it's unbelievable the job. When you blow out Tulane and Stanford, I mean, they beat Stanford by better than 30. That's incredible.
On the news, women's hoops coming your way Saturday. Penn State's got a great club, 6th in the nation, and the Lady Jayhawks will oppose them, number 21 in the latest poll. And that'll be at 1 o'clock Eastern, 10 Pacific, Saturday with women's NCAA basketball on ESPN2. Shepard,
He
thought
wants
about
that.
the three.
Yeah, he wants that three, but they're not giving him the great look at the three. But he finally gets one there.
That was way out there. Into the FSU bench, and the Seminoles will keep it with 4:29 remaining.
Big East, you also, when you throw in Georgetown into that picture with Villanova and Connecticut, you're looking at 3 heavyweight clubs. I'll tell you, a heck of a player doesn't get a lot of credit is Alvin Williams, the outstanding guard now for Villanova.
James Collins, his second field goal of the night. He's got his double figures.
He's starting to put points on a board, but it's too late. It's academic, baby.
Little too tall. King got it back.
King with that great body inside and great jumping ability hanging around the basket.
UConn by 26. Strong move by Avery Curry to draw the foul.
See, I think a lot of people thought this was going to be an athletic game, up and down the floor, excitement galore, and was going to be one of those nail-biters. The people I was talking to today, very, very happy with what they've seen in this Florida State team. But Connecticut came here with a goal, with a purpose. They had intensity, emotion, and they came to execute, and they've made no doubt about who's the better basketball team.
Absolutely. Curry at the line. In this game early, it was 8-0, 12-1, 14-6, 18-6, 32-25 at the various timeout intervals in the first half, and then 40-25 as the Huskies threw a big run at them right at the end of the first 20 minutes. 3:48 to go. It's all UConn in Tallahassee.
Pretty good things. You know, our goals are to beat the Georgetowns, the Syracuse, the St. John's, the people at the top, and I'm sure that we make a pretty good bullseye for a lot of people.
Yes, but nobody's shot them down, Dick, and you know why? They have been in first place for 3 years now, the better part of it, through 38 conference games. The previous high, Villanova, 30 games back in the early 80s.
You know, it's amazing when you look at the 90s. They had that one slip in 93 when they were 15-13. That was the year they were beaten by Jackson State in the NIT. But other than that, it's been 28 wins, 29 wins, 20 wins, 20 wins. Then they had the 31 season in 1990. So it's been incredible in the 90s.
Kirk King the basket, 7 second-half points for him. How do you go 16-2, 2 straight years in a league like that?
Well, it's because, first of all, you got great personnel, and the kids play together as a unit. They understand their roles. They have great chemistry, and the fan support. I mean, you talk about a sixth man.
Oh, yeah.
They have it in UConn. I mean, up there, those Husky people, really, it's mania. It's basketball heaven. Husky hysteria.
Here's Collins. A little short with the action, a little long with the shot, and it'll go back the other way as Kirk Luckman will check back in for the Seminoles. We've got 3:04 remaining. Connecticut leading 77-51. They're about to go 7-1.
It's time, if you're Florida State, to get back to the locker room, take the uniforms off, hit the books, get really your grades up, and just wipe this game out. Don't even think about it.
They do have a player coming back this weekend from suspension due to team policy, and that's their senior forward, Tim Wooden, 6'11", 215, a little depth down low, and a turnover by Ray Allen.
See, I really think it hurts the morale of a club when you got guys that are suspended, when you got players with charges, with allegations, even though, like we said, you're innocent until proven guilty. You had the player earlier this year, Corey Lewis, suspended for the first 2 games. And I really think all of that weighs on it. It's tough to put together a real cohesive unit.
Shepard up high for Jackson. Little guy will go baseline. Wow, left-hander with a little spin off the glass.
Nice drive on that baseline. He said, hey, if you think the scouting report is only that I could shoot the 3, forget about it.
Inyatkin down to Rashamel Jones. He takes a bump and takes 2.
Inyatkin with that good bounce pass.
79-53.
Jones is going to be a star. He's got star all over. You just watch his bounce, and you just can see that he will be a future star. Maybe not a Ray Allen because he's so rare and unique.
Moore leaving it for Klaver. Blocked by Luckman. Seminoles will run.
Klaber's got to get some strength. He's got to get in the weight room and really get stronger.
Jackson was blocked by Entric Klaber on that play. Now
Give
they've
it
got
back.
the floor spread. Ricky Moore did give it back.
Oh, he blew the birdie. I can run out and make that layup. Come on, you got to make that layup. That's a gimme.
And now that's a 3 for Avery Curry, 10 for him. But these Seminole shots, too little, way too late.
You know, we're watching right now, almost like watching a fast break series in practice where the teams are running fast break drills. Hey, can I make a call wanted? I got somebody in wanted. I really got to make a wanted call. Wanted Richie Adambato of the Orlando Magic, the assistant coach. Please call my house. Richie Adambato, it's important. I got to speak to you, Richie. Call my house. Wanted.
Yeah, Richie, you could call collect, too.
You can call collect, but he's wanted. If anybody's listening, call him up. They're playing in New Jersey tonight, the Magic, but he is wanted. I mean, this is filler material at its best. Look at Ray Allen. You talk about my all-Rolls-Royce team. I had Allen and Kittles, John Vaughn, and Duncan and Camby. How do you like that call? Iverson and Minor off the bench.
Allen came into this game with 3 consecutive double-doubles. He had 22 and 12 rebounds against BC, 19 and 10 against Notre Dame, 31 and 10 against Yale. And he'll fall a little bit short, but he did have 7 boards in this ball game tonight.
Well, what do you think of my team? Did you like that team?
That's a Rolls-Royce team.
You better believe that. You know what? Numbers aren't important to this kid. And I'm going to tell you this. When you look at the makeup of the Connecticut team and the kind of balance, he's not going to get the big numbers that maybe some other kids have. But you know what? He gets one number that counts, and it's called WWW.
Yep. That was Gentry Sparks, a reserve, with the basket on the free throw by Florida State. Curry will swing it left side for Scott Shepard.
1 minute to play.
In the final minute. A lot of walk-ons are on the floor now.
Sparks has got some pretty good numbers shooting the basketball. You look at his numbers, when you look at Sparks, he had some pretty good numbers this year, 6 for 7. That's pretty good shooting.
Florida State with 6 team fouls.
I love that Kansas team because they're very similar to Connecticut, very unselfish, team-oriented. They got a big battle. The General's coming to town down in Lawrence.
Yeah.
He's coming to town with his Hoosiers. His Hoosiers last year beat Kansas. That was in Bloomington, baby.
That was the big fella from the football team, Pete Kane, missing there. He's a defensive lineman for the Huskies. 3 rattles out. Seibart the rebound for UConn.
See where Lou Holtz's son, Skip Holtz, doing a great job with the UConn football team. They gave him an extension. And his dad, he can coach as long as he wants, they say, up at the Golden Dome.
Well, same here with Bobby Bowden. The Seminoles are 9-2. Number 8 in the AP poll. They will take on the Irish in the Orange Bowl.
I can't believe it. They're the biggest favorite. If you check all the numbers, it's unreal. They're over a 2-touchdown favorite, I think, over the Irish.
I think a lot of people forgot how well Notre Dame played the second half of the season.
Oh, look at the loose ball right there. Scrapping, clawing, hustling.
Luckman going after it. Fouled by the big fella, Kane.
You're mentioning football, Bob. They're hoping at Florida State, the coaching staff in basketball, that the football staff recruits Mateen Cleaves, who's going to visit here. He's from out of Michigan, and he's rated in all the polls as maybe the best point guard in America and might want to play 2 sports.
Pat Kennedy's got an intra-state rivalry coming up in Orlando Saturday when the Seminoles will take on Lon Kruger's Gators.
Gators are struggling right now, really fighting with a lot of young kids to get some W's. Both these clubs are in need of a win, and that's going to be a big game for both programs because psychologically they need a W.
And here on ESPN in the month of January, there will still be some pretty good intersectional games. Kansas will go down to Gainesville and play Florida. Scott Shepard steals it away off the inbound.
You come off a poor performance like this, you need a big win, and over your state rival, that would give you a good lift.
Look at Shepard working
Nice
hard.
pass.
Curry for Collins. But Scott Shepard made all of that happen.
Yeah, hustling and scrapping, his awareness. He's still hustling. Look at him running into the deck. It's been all Connecticut, Mr. Carpenter. They have been brilliant today. To put it in simple terms, they have been super scintillating and sensational.
18, the margin of victory. It was not that close. Gary Miller, Florida State, started out slow tonight, never could recover. For Dick Vitale, Bob Carpenter, good night from Tallahassee.